This is Giving Purpose Podcast.
Hello and welcome to our first episode of Giving Purpose Podcast, where we are here to highlight San Francisco Bay Area nonprofits and the work that they do to better our communities. Our first guest on our podcast is Theresa Cariño. She is a public health educator and former high school teacher and administrator, and is the founder and volunteer executive director of Salud y Cariño.
I have been the co-founder and executive director of Salud y Cariño now going on over 10 years. And we're coming up on our 9-year anniversary of our programming because, as you know, when you start a nonprofit, it takes a little while to get your board together, do your strategic planning, and start the programming, right? Get into that community and see what they want, see what they need. And so, January 22nd, 2024, that will be our 9-year anniversary.
Can you give us a little bit of background of why you do the work that you do?
You mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, and I actually had a childhood accident when I was 2 years old. I was burned with hot corn syrup over about 70% of my body when I was 2 years old. You can imagine, as a young child and starting school and having scars on my face and my hand and having to answer questions that kids ask. They're so innocent. They're so honest. And really having to learn how to tell that story at a young age, and then to deal with some of the bullying that comes along kind of in middle school and into high school. And as a young woman, how that makes you feel, right? And so that was one of the reasons, because I knew what I dealt with as a young woman coming of age in a time where maybe my self-esteem or my confidence wasn't very high. Some people try alcohol or drugs or unprotected sex. And so at a young age, for me, what it was is that I ended up pregnant very young. So I was a teen mom. And my sister, my co-founder, Margaret Cariño-Condon, also was a teen mom. And so when we thought about starting a nonprofit for women and girls, we thought, what would we have wanted at that age, at middle school, high school range, that maybe would have had an impact on our life, on our self-esteem, so that we weren't engaging in activities that were maybe not the healthiest choices at that age.
What did you find successful in the process of being able to gain community partnerships when you're starting your nonprofit?
Well, the community is everything, right? Whether you're a nonprofit or not, the community that you live in, it goes to, for me anyway, it's like yourself, your family, your community, your city, your state, like it goes out to the world, to the universe, right? And so the community is that first sort of safety net that is around us besides our families and our close friends.
Can you kind of tell us a little bit about the community and the girls that you serve in that community?
Yes, I'd love to. So we're in Live Oak, and it is an unincorporated area of Santa Cruz County. We have a high population of Latinx. And when we set out, we wanted to serve the community that we were in. Live Oak, for one, because my sister and I both live in Live Oak. And when we looked at the demographics in the Live Oak School District, it was over 50% Latinx. And when we decided to start serving young women, we would always get the question like, oh, you're Salud y Cariño, so is it just in Spanish? Do you only serve Latinx? And we said, no, we set out, yes, we chose our name with a purpose. Cariño is my dad's last name. And it really incorporates like what we stand for, right? So health and the idea of love and care. And if women and girls can love and care for themselves and each other, they can change the world.
How can these young girls get involved? Do they have to be in the Live Oak area, or can they be from outside areas?
Yeah, we get that question a lot right now. Since we are a fairly small nonprofit, we mostly serve young women or women or youth who identify as female or as also gender expansive youth. We mostly in the Live Oak area. However, sometimes we do have students who go to another school district, maybe on the west side, who have heard about us. And so we've had parents who've reached out to us, and if we have space, they will actually pick up their child from another school and drive them to maybe where our program is at. We wanted the physical activity, but we wanted it along with education and prevention, because I'm a former educator. So I know that whatever we're doing after school, we want to be bringing in resources. We want to educate young women, whether it's about their bodies, whether it's about coping skills, whether it's about getting into college, which is aligned with the education. So we wanted to prevent unwanted teen pregnancies. We wanted to prevent smoking and now vaping, which is epidemic. So that's what we do. We offer physical activity. The types of physical activity we do surfing, but that's not all we do. So we offer things like this week, we just came straight from a bowling field trip. We take them bowling, we take them roller skating. We brought in like Zumba, world dance. We do obstacle courses. We do personal best challenges where they challenge themselves. It was really important to us to start every group in a good way. So we always start with a talking circle, and we always talk about, we use a talking stick, and we talk about how that is actually in an indigenous way, right? It's a way of sitting in a circle, and no one is more important in the circle. Everyone's voices should and can be heard. And then we do cover things like coping skills. We talk about, what does it mean? What is a coping skill? And when and where might we use them? And then they have we'll journal about it, we'll talk about it, and then they'll do some sort of a craft. For instance, some of them, one of the crafts we do is they write letters to themselves. So we brainstorm, like, what are some times where we might need some help, right? We might need a little boost. So we always end the semester with the end of the year celebration. And so that's girls' choice. They get to choose what do they want to do. But each session, like I said, what they all have in common is that check-in period, a snack is always provided. We do the talking circle, and we have that journal prompt that goes along with the theme. So we'll have our talking circle, we'll talk about that, and then we'll go into either some kind of an activity, or it might be a craft, or it might be a guest presenter. And then we always end with a closing circle.
What pushed you to your giving purpose?
I think what pushed me to my giving purpose was that I have always found purpose in connecting with people, with relationships, and with giving back. So I learned that from my grandparents. I learned that from my parents. I always saw them, whether it was like at the church, in the community, at the schools, volunteering, wanting to give back to the community.
A point of contact. How can they contact your organization, Salud y Cariño, and how can they volunteer, donate? Where's their best place to go for that?
Yeah, the best place to go is to our website, which is saludycariño.org. And they don't let you put the ñ, so there's no ñ in Cariño. They don't let you put that on websites. And if you go there, you'll find my email, but my email is Theresa with an H, Theresa, at saludycariño.org. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, both Salud y Cariño.
Thank you for listening to Giving Purpose Podcast. For more information, you could visit our website at givingpurposepodcast.com.